you're a man between the ages of 18 to 35, your media diet is flush with a number of advertisements geared specifically for you, our demographic. Men, young men. Things like sports gambling, ooh, gendered butt wipes, ouchie, and silky cotton polos that you can go from the golf course to the meeting with, and then something your coworker Brian might call absolutely filthy, man. Dude, use my code ROBAC for 30% off. Another one that I keep seeing shoved down my gullet nonstop is for ED and hair loss. Companies like Hims, Rose Sparks, Blue Chew, and look, kudos to them on finding a cool millennial venture capital name. I remember the days when you'd roll in and you'd see fun gas station pills like B69 or Blue Panther. All right, that's got me absolutely gacked up. That's one of those things you look at your lady and you go, do you want Blue Panther? And then she says no, and then you go, please. Suffice to say, these new companies are offering something with more efficiency, less stigma. They're becoming so popular that you might have even seen them on their new Super Bowl ad, where they had rich people compared to living longer. The idea that the wealth inequality gap means that you're gonna live longer, which is of course true. And I think that's Demi Moore. I think that is Demi Moore getting her face peeled backwards. If that even is true, whatever, okay? I'm just wondering, why is this geared towards me? 29 years old, I'm in the prime of my life. Do my knees work? No, okay? I hear a clicking in my elbow all the time. I'm pretty sure I still have water in my ears. But that doesn't mean I need ED and hair loss pills. But I'm wondering, do so many of my friends do that it's becoming so prevalent for them to completely target us nonstop? Is this a genuine effort to help men under 40 get control of their erectile dysfunction and hair loss? Or is this more big business trying to recreate how we even see medical care as a whole? Suffice to say, I just want to know, why are my boys bald and soft? Welcome, folks, to Bad Ideas with Alec Flynn. I am Alec Flynn. That's, nope. Can't even spell my own name. And Emmett.
Hey.
Good job, Emmett.
Thank you.
If this is your first time watching, welcome. This is a deep dive video essay show that does not use AI, and we try and make sure we credit every source that we use. Today's sources are mostly from Business Insider and Men's Health. And we will make sure we shout out the authors of the articles of which we're referencing. Plus, I just hope you learned something. I think this is something critical for all the lads out there today. First things first. First things first. The beginning of telehealth. It's direct-to-consumer, DTC, also called direct-to-patient or demand care, allows patients to connect with providers remotely and quickly. The at-home telehealth allows patients to obtain medical care on their own technology devices and at a time that is convenient for them. So you're taking appointments with medical professionals. We see people do this all the time with, say, like Better Health. Or, I mean, I know, how many people do we know that have, really fucked up families and they're doing therapy over Zoom, right?
Like me.
Like you. Very good. See, that's your need for attention. I could have diagnosed that pretty quickly, huh? Mm-hmm. But people are now going online, especially young men. And you're wondering to yourself, Alec, how does telehealth work? Well, let me tell you. There's some variations, but the gist is this. You go to a website, probably because you saw an ad for it on a podcast for a lot of guys. Maybe you were listening to Come Town again. You fill out a questionnaire about your condition. Maybe chat with a doctor. Probably not, though. More often than not, you're just kind of, filling stuff out because you know the right answers. It's like when you were a kid and you lied about being not able to pay attention, so you get Adderall. Similar. DTC medication services, they do have access for people who live in remote areas or cannot easily get to a doctor. Think Native American reservations, Appalachia, people that are out there, okay? They might have to walk to the damn doctor. But I will say, this is also super convenient for men, because what do men not do? Go to the doctor. Did I do an Indian voice there? I didn't mean to do it. Keep that in. And why not go to the doctor? The doctor, if we remember when we were kids, it can be a scary place. You're getting your shots, sure. But remember seeing the older gentleman from town, the guy who you trusted to do the right thing? Everybody knew the doctor. It was the family pediatrician. Remember this guy? He'd give you a lollipop that tasted bad. He'd give you a sticker of Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. That was fun. That was nice. It was a thing you did twice a year, so you could have an older gentleman tell you, hey, your balls are growing weird. It's important to do. But nonetheless, men not going so much. I mean, another thing, God, do you remember the paper on this thing? I still think about, when you go to the doctor in shorts and you would just have to feel the crinkle of the paper on the doctor's tape. Ugh. And I always felt bad for crinkling the paper, even though that's kind of what it's there for. I was always like, why are you having me sit on paper I'm gonna ruin? I don't know. Direct-to-consumer health industry has exploded in recent years. We are seeing the DTC companies are both culturally and legally being accepted. The global telehealth market has been worth $101.2 billion in 2023, and it's growing rapidly. Multiple startups have started to capitalize on this growth. Hims & Hers, for example, has a market cap of over $4 billion. Market cap, if you're not familiar, is share price times available stock. Finance major. Roe, one of the other main players, has raised over $1 billion and has a valuation of $6.6 billion. So these companies, I mean, they are just exploding, constantly growing, constantly trying to advertise, not only to men, but to women now. They've gone into the space for other medications as well. Their main prescriptions are for, Mounjaro, off-brand Viagra, Vyezee, nail grower, bug stock. What are the other ones? Emmett, what were you telling me about? You're trying to get you have eyebrow replacement surgery?
Yeah.
Eyebrow replacement. You're trying to look a little more like a cat.
Yeah.
These are all the services you can get online at Hims. And you know what? Don't sue me for saying that. Outside risk factors that lead to our balding and softness, I've thought about. Because we think about, where is this coming from? Unhealthy foods, sedentary lifestyle, prevalence of porn. We'll get into that later. Hats that say Siegelman Stables and No Bad Days. I think those are definitely contributing to men being bald. I don't have any sort of proof to back that up, but if you're a kind of guy that likes to wear a ball cap that has like a weird horse on it, or, something like that, like a turtle, and it just says like, yo, ranch, this is my ranch. You're from fucking Danbury, Connecticut. What is it with people I feel like every guy I know is trying to start their own clothing brand. And it's like, dude, no, but I want to do clothes for guys that like to golf and party. Anyway, but what I found was one of the main contributing factors to men going to telehealth instead of going to see a real doctor was, of course, a symptom old as time itself. Shame! 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 Fucker. The big challenge that young men tend not to report their ED because of shame. And that stigma is psychological response to a biological fact. Overcoming erectile dysfunction often involves treating a man's body, his brain, and his penis. Listen, you might think your dick's all fucked up and weird, and a lot of your friends might think so too. I'd say stop showing them. But instead, telehealth companies are willing to get you set up on some off-brand Vyezee. I can't believe I wrote that already. I think Vyezee. Come on, player. Stop hating. Stop hating, start participating. Stop hating, start participating. You stop, baby. Twinkle, twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, baby. This is from Emily Stewart's online health providers make money by preying on young men's fears. Quote, one man who got generic Viagra through Hims told me he went through the platform to avoid the 8 million, couldn't have been that many, questions his doctor would ask. Yeah, because that's his job. I mean, whenever you deal with these drug companies that they are trying to do direct to consumer, you gotta know that the doctors are just checking a box, if you're even using a doctor at all. I mean, God, this is an article from 2025. It's 2026 now. I guarantee you, you're just talking to Grok. They're not gonna give you as much crap. Hey, language. If you have a pulse, they're gonna give you a prescription. This is a bad sign, okay? This reminds me a lot of when I used to sell Adderall in college. All right, I would just give it to people for favors because I didn't want a money trail leading back to me. Okay, I was essentially like the Don Corleone of fucking 10 milligrams extended release. What would I do? Someone would come in, they'd be like, oh, I'm going to party, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, oh, you got a party? I got laundry that needs to be folded. That being said, I know at this point you thought to yourself, Alec, this is a lot of talk about penises and wrenches. Well, guess what? The more I've done this research, the more I feel like we should focus on that because that is such an integral part of a man's sexual identity, of how he gives himself confidence. So we're going to be talking about it a lot more, okay? That's kind of going to be the main shift on this episode. The American Urologist Association defines erectile dysfunction as the consistent or recurrent inability to attain and or maintain penile erection sufficient for sexual satisfaction. Keyword here, sexual satisfaction. Let's keep that in mind. Sexual satisfaction, including satisfactory sexual performance. Sexual performance, sexual satisfaction. What do those mean to you? Okay? Fuck! What is satisfying sexual experiences? That is subjective at best. Okay, folks, what might be, the best night of your life might only be a hand job for some. Okay? Could be anybody. And it helps companies like that prey on our insecurities and our lack of knowledge. It goes back to the idea of getting it, like when you have a doctor, a human connection allows you to talk with another guy. I mean, granted, it might just be the old dude from your town who's gonna be like, oh yeah, your teacher? She came in here on her lunch break, if you know what I mean. But less human-to-human interaction means more isolation and feeling like you need to fix it on your own. Fix what? Fix what? Is your dick actually broken? Is it? Have you asked yourself, is it actually broken? Through my research, I found that most cases of erectile dysfunction, especially among young men, are psychogenic. The most common response being performance anxiety. Now, we already call ourselves the anxious generation. We already say to ourselves, like, God, every day it's a stress. It's a fucking hamster wheel in my head that doesn't end. Now add in the fact that we have to please a woman. A woman in their, like, we have to please a woman. A woman who under the age of 30. They hate us. This overreacts the nervous system and floods the body with adrenaline, okay? Why are we so worried about performance? Well, I'll tell you why. I think it all kind of comes back to this. You know who this man is? This man is an engineer. He's a doctor, a dentist, a karate master, school teacher, pizza delivery guy, plumber, and the most talented man on this planet. Folks, that's porn. That's porn. Now, I'm not saying all porn is bad, but I'm talking that there's a reality that we have had so much unfettered access to pornography for our generation that it has completely warped our idea of sexual satisfaction and sexual performance. You're not supposed to have a 30-minute long erection. You're not supposed to have a legit saber dangling betwixt your legs. The ability to choose what I want to see and the ability to ban it instantly in favor of a different channel simply by swiping away. And the privacy to not care what I look like or if I'm performing well, that's total comfort. None of these factors are present when I have sex with a live person, and that's the goal, isn't it? That's the goal. Why are you giving yourself an Indian sunburn when you can have your fucking assistant manager at AutoZone do it for you? This is from Clay Skipper of Men's Health. God damn it. Unencumbered access to any sort of video that shows no foreplay or realistic expectations when having a sexual encounter. That is what porn is allowing us to do. And look, I'm not one of these evangelicals, Christians that say pornography is wrong, you shouldn't do porn. Everyone is allowed to do whatever they want. And frankly, sex work is work, so I'm not going to besmirch anybody. However, we gotta realize that foreplay, that real intimacy, is what gives you the baby arm. But I will ask you this. Do Hims, Rose Sparks, Blue Chew, do they care about any of that? No. These companies are selling the treatment, okay? They are not creating the cure. The treatment is what keeps you subscribed, okay? From Matthew McCoy, an assistant professor of the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy, University of Pennsylvania. Wow, mouthful, got it though. These companies are in the business of selling drugs. A medical provider is ideally in the business of providing the best medical care. So while you might not agree with Dr. Kern, he's got your best interests in mind because he took a Hippocratic oath. I don't know what that has to do with the Lion King, but I trust him. All these sometimes, they're gonna use the best possible method and they're going to press you, okay? These companies make money if you buy something, and it's even better if you set up a recurring subscription. So advertising that leans into young men's fears can be especially fruitful. You might say that makes them a target for high pressure, potentially even manipulative marketing in a way that we should worry about. I would say that. I would say that's what it does. This is from Emily Stewart's Online Providers, Fears, and Health Business. I know I should have put it on the table. So instead of going to a doctor, you're going to a company. You're going to a corporation. To Hims, Blue Chew, and Roe, patient means customer. They're trying to create market share, not the doctors. They don't care about you. They want you soft and bald so they can keep feeding you pills that help. Okay? They're not addressing any of these underlying issues. And if you knew that already, good for you. But if you didn't, I feel like it's important to understand that ease and convenience of these online prescriptions are not going to fix your fucking problem. Okay? My bad idea for all of you this week, go see a doctor. Go see a medical professional who's there to help you diagnose the underlying symptoms for all of your men's performance issues. An actual guy who's willing to sit there, who's gonna give you the look like, you sure it's not the 14 beers you're drinking every night? Are you sure it's not the city planner you play until 3 in the morning? You start off slow, okay? Just edge yourself a little bit with a little urgent care. Just edge. Ooh, okay, that's nice. I was in and out. I just had a problem. My elbow was starting to peel a little bit. I don't know what that means. Then if you're ready to insert yourself into primary care, you won't feel as crazy about it anymore. I know healthcare is crazy. I know all this shit is crazy. And again, I don't judge, but you should definitely see somebody who has your best interest at heart. These companies don't care whether you live or die. The subscription is still gonna end up in your mailbox, even after your cats find your body and start eating you. So, if you're not gonna go see a doctor, at least talk to your friends. Because the sexual performance stigma, all this idea of like what should be arousal, what should be this, talk. Confer with one another. Ask yourself, do I really have a problem? Or am I comparing myself to a standard that isn't attainable? And who knows? Maybe your doctor will find your underlying issues. And if not, maybe he can blow your back out and show you what sexual performance really looks like. From all of us here at the TMG Studios, my name is Alec Flynn, and this has been Bad Ideas. If you enjoyed the show, highly recommend you subscribe, share it, give it a like, and we'll see you soon.